And good morning again, everyone. Saturday, the 31st of January, 2026. Good old 710. I'm Peter Boyles. Mild, breezy, and 56 will be the high. Tomorrow, Sunday, 61 degrees, and Monday, 60 degrees. We'll be getting our motorcycles out of the the National Western Expo, the complex, because the motorcycle show begins today and tomorrow, and the judging is tomorrow at 4 o'clock, between 3 and 4, sitting on my motorcycle, ladies and gentlemen, on the exposition floor, the one, the only, Brando is with us. My boy, my boy. I was looking at that picture. I said, wait a minute, that's my bike. You're sitting there?
That's right. I have taken a perch upon the throne of Peter Boyles.
Is the place filling up?
Oh, it's packed already. We're getting mobbed here at the Devil's Head booth. We're up front in the bike show, so that's super cool.
It is.
There's 150 show bikes here and tons of vendors, and this is a blast. If you guys love motorcycles, you got to come down.
It is the show of the year every year at the National Western. It's the Colorado Motorcycle Expo, and I put a bike in it. Actually, a bike that this man built for me, Brandon built for me, and he built it at Devil's Head, and I've won 2 other events, 2 other competitions because of his work, and I put it in, and we have, and Randy Reardon's bike's in, and all kinds of guys' bikes are in, and it is really worth your time, you guys. If you love motorcycles, you got to go. It's today and tomorrow, and it's don't miss, and it opened, at 9 o'clock this morning, and goes how late tonight?
It's open till 7 tonight, and then the doors open again tomorrow at 9 and goes till 4 when they do all the awards. And that's when Peter gets his trophy, of course.
Yeah, I tell you what, this young man is a bike builder extraordinaire, and there's some great bike builders down there, and he is certainly one of them. But if you go down and look for Devil's Head, and you see my bike, but you see some great bikes. And I didn't know, I've never seen your Indian Larry bike, and you rolled it out yesterday. I went, wait a minute, that's the bike you've been talking about. So that bike, how many?
That bike's worth the trip all on its own. Oh. It is so beautiful in person.
You know what? And all the stories about Indian Larry, if half those stories are true, that he was a bank robber before he started building motorcycles, and he and his sister, and it was great stuff. And of course, he lost his life on a bike, but you have an actual Indian Larry motorcycle, and it's...
it's a real Indian Larry frame that showed up with the guy who owns the bike. Christian came rolling in with this frame, and I was like, where did you get that? So he had us build a bike that's kind of an Indian Larry tribute, and Scott Takes out in Iowa did the paint, underground paint out there, and there's silver leaf in it. It's got the question mark. We got a nice motor in it, a bunch of parts that we made, and it's a beautiful bike. Nice little bobber. It runs great, and I think it's a fantastic tribute, but it's also an award winner. We've won a lot of cool awards with that bike too.
All right, so I'm going to wrap up the segment with this question. Just got text to me, and I know the answer, but I'll ask it anyhow. Can he, meaning you, customize an e-bike?
Yes, but I don't have a lot of time. Hey, money talks, right?
Yes, it does. And the other thing walks. I'll be there 1:30, 1:20 to 2. I'll be there, and I'll hang with you, and I'll go to work with you, okay? But
that'll be great. And then, of course, with Peter Boyles at the Devil's Head booth, you can come and say hi to Peter Boyles.
I'll be there. I will be there. I love you. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Thanks, Brando. See you.
All right, thanks.
Bye, brother.
Thanks,
Bye.
brother.
All right. We go to open lines, 303-696-1971. Well, so much has happened. It was interesting. Yesterday, they called for a national strike. And if you know something, and I've just been drawn to reading about national strikes, and I was in 2 strikes when I was a young man, and there was also united fronts and general strikes and popular fronts, and it was clear to me that these folks that were calling for this front or popular front strike, they didn't have a clue to what they're talking about. You know, like Have you ever, by the way, here's a great open lines question, 303-696-1971. Have you ever been in a country where you went and witnessed a general strike? I was in Italy, in Venice, and there was a general strike. And everybody goes. Everybody goes out. The French are famous for popular fronts, united fronts, general strikes. And so when they called that, and it seemed to me that it was school kids, although I saw one place where they had closed a little food place for the strike. But united fronts are the revolutionary workers and reformists, but in the face of a common threat. And it's basically communists and social democrats. And due to the fact that communist parties usually are in the minority, the United Front strategy, it was the Trotskyist, Leon himself came up with the United Front, the Popular Front, and it's the alliance of reformist and unionist and capitalist parties in face of the communist threat. But has anybody ever been? I've been in a country once when they have a general strike. There's a united front that refers to an alliance of groups of individuals joining forces to achieve a shared goal. And they're popular fronts. And the popular fronts are different as well. And then national strikes are coordinated and they're widespread work stoppages. And I was listening to Stefan talk about how Channel 9 was presenting the United Front or the general strike, and it was pretty much overstated. I agree. I saw one little bit of their report. They were talking about thousands of people. No, I mean, what's the goal of a national strike, of a general strike? Is to shut everything down, and that's what they do. The French are notorious for national strikes. I was in Italy, and I got this full benefit in Venice the gondoliers weren't working, the power boats weren't working. Nobody works, and they shut it down. They're very effective, and there's a historical context. But did you see anything other than young kids leaving school? And it was a nice warm day, and it was a Friday, and it made all the sense in the world to do a general strike. But they're calling it a general strike without, I don't think, having a clue what a general strike was all about. This country has never had a general strike. It just doesn't. We don't do that. The French, the Italians, boy, they rip them apart. So anyhow, so we got that to talk about. The arrest of, and again, I want to talk about it, does the arrest of Don Lemon mean anything? Does it mean anything when somebody from the media is arrested, like Don Lemon was arrested? Is that supposed to put fear in anybody? And then last but not least, and I got home last night and I was reading as much as I could, and I got up, actually didn't sleep very well last night, and reading all the Epstein files, the underage girls claiming Donald Trump. What do we do with all of that? So it's open lines, 303-696-1971. But Don Lemon is charged with federal civil rights crimes. And is that haunting when you think of a media person being snatched? All right, we'll take a call here in a minute. But this is from a text message. Just think of all the illegals unable to go to work because they had to stay home, because with kids, so teachers could take a paid day off. Also, the illegals could not come to the restaurant jobs because they didn't have a choice in the matter. All right, let's go to Jim in Denver. Jim, you're on a radio show. It's Saturday morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Peter. Thank you for taking my call. And this is just off, not really on topic, but I grew up in Colorado in the Denver area and used to listen to you all the time way back. And in fact, I take my son to school in the morning, and that's when he was in ninth grade. We went to a school down in Denver, and it was about a 20-minute drive, and we used to listen to you every morning.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Yeah, that was so long ago, and he just, I don't know, it was 6 months ago. He said, "Do you remember when we used to listen to Peter Boyle every morning?" And I said, oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And he said, man, I miss that.
Oh, you're kind.
And we learned a lot, though. I mean, it was back, when you were talking about a lot of different stuff with identity and Barack Obama, just all that stuff. And it was just,
Well, thank you.
it was just great. Just really, you were knowledgeable, and we enjoyed listening to you.
Well,
Some
you're
good
kind.
memories we had, and I appreciate it. Just wanted to say thank you to you. And I live out on a farm now in Kansas, so I don't get to listen to you unless I come through town. So,
Well, thank you very much. That's awfully nice.
you bet. Well, you take care
You too.
and keep up the great work, Peter.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 303-696-1971. Adam's clearing calls. We'll go right back. I was reading the releases yesterday afternoon. The underage girl claiming on Donald Trump. Would that be enough? This bombshell allegation, the latest Epstein files document release, an underage girl claims she was forced to perform oral sex on Donald Trump 35 years ago. They're unidentified. And is that fair to release that? Forced to perform oral sex on President Trump 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told that she was 13 or 14 years old when it occurred, and the friend allegedly bit Donald Trump while performing oral sex. And the friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting Donald Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Jeffrey Epstein. All right, let's go to the phones. I'm doing the right one here? Wrong one. Can I put that back up and put it on hold? All right, let's go here. AJ and Thornton. AJ, you're on a radio show. Thanks for calling and good morning.
Well, Peter, when you started out with the beginning of your first subject, you were talking about all the rock singers that came here and all that. I grew up in Colorado, and I'm a native. I was born and raised here, and I grew up on 24th and Lawrence, right off of Broadway there, where they used to have streetcars. I was 7 years old, and if you walk out and look down the street, the tallest building in Denver at that time was the Dinals and Fishers. They called it the Dinals and Fishers. There were no many other buildings besides the phone company further down the street. But I used to shine shoes a lot going down Larmer Street. Larmer Street was nothing but bars and hawk shops. And at the end of Larmer Street, it was called Johnny's Market. It was a meat market. And then I used to go across the bridge down to pick out vegetables on the trash cans on Monday. My dad worked as a printer, and my mother worked at the laundromats called City Elite for 50 cents an hour. Do you believe that? And
Sure.
My dad was a printer making $2 an hour.
Oh, sure.
And I used to go down to 5 Points. And when I went down there, me and my brother, we used to hustle, shine shoes. The black people come up and they use the word "and" back in them days.
Okay.
And when I'm a Vietnam veteran too, and I just lost a limb here a few years
man,
back.
I'm sorry.
I was a combat corpsman in Vietnam, and I was with a medevac unit on helicopters picking up pilots. But I don't know what subject you want to talk about. But anyway, I used to go to the Roxy Theater because I loved going to that theater. And they used to run me out. And they said, "What are you two white boys doing down here in N-Town? You don't belong."
Wow.
And I remember the old days when Fats Domino played there, Little Richard played there, James Brown came to Denver and played there. A lot of your old singers played down at the Rock Theater down there on 5 Points.
Well, what would you like to talk about? I got jam lines, so what would you like?
Anyway, I just wanted to inform you about all that. I don't know if you want to talk about any of that.
Well, I got a topic going here, so.
Yeah, I know you're on a different topic now.
I appreciate it.
Could have called in earlier.
Take care of yourself, AJ. Thanks, man. Thanks, brother. Thank you. All right, we'll go to Don in Colorado Springs. You're on the radio show. Good afternoon, and thank you.
Hey, Peter. Thanks for bringing me on again. Before I get to Don Lemon, I do want to say that, condolences to Dr. Walker. And I would hope that maybe those in the urban contemporary format, or especially in Denver, make awareness about Dr. Daddio's legacy.
Yeah, it's getting some attention. It really is, and it's good.
It needs to get more attention than it is, and he needs to be up there with Frankie Crocker or Tom Joyner. For those who don't know who Joyner is, he spent 8 years, starting in the mid '80s until the early '90s, commuting via airline.
Yeah, did both
from Dallas Fort Worth to Chicago.
Yeah, he did mornings, and he took an airplane and did afternoons.
Yeah, mornings in DFW and afternoons in Chicago, and then after paying his dues there, he went syndicated. I mean, he was syndicated. He was syndicated weekly, but he got a daily one after that.
Yes, indeed. Anyhow, go ahead. You wanted to talk about something else.
Yes, Don Lemon. I think what Don Lemon did, nobody should fear what happened. I mean, he didn't obey the laws or rules. He got involved in a story. He became part of the story, and he crossed the line. That's where we want to try to get him. This isn't.
Do you think one of the things that I keep seeing Watergate in a lot of these things, and and Richard Nixon really had a hard time with the press. That was his. If there's ever a president that didn't like the press, it was Richard Nixon. And I think that Donald Trump dislikes the press more, if that's possible.
And I think a lot of conservatives dislike the press in general. Not necessarily everybody in it, but I mean, okay, the problem with Nixon is that, he got pardoned, he got this, but ultimately Nixon fought against those who he felt were a threat to liberty and freedom. Apparently, I don't think he did everything right, but I think ultimately, if you listen to any of his stories from a more conservative side, he actually believed in America and believed in liberty and freedom, and he stepped down apparently for the greater good of the country, in spite of the media and then some.
Well, I mean, you don't think that Nixon didn't do what he did?
Well, I mean, Nixon made his mistakes. Don't get me wrong. He made some mess. Oh. He made some big errors, or more of his handlers did, if not him.
No, he okayed probably. Well, he didn't. Not to make it into an esoteric call, but he did not know that the plumbers were going to break in, but he did know the next morning.
Correct.
And that began to cover up. So.
And then that's the thing. And the $64,000 question is Trump covering up something that he should not be?
Yeah, I mean, what I see, and I generally find myself seeing things in patterns, but in some ways, what happened in Minnesota or in Milwaukee is almost like Kent State, although the initial shootings of two people, and if you remember, the National Guard shot the students at Kent State, and it set everything off. One good thing or one bad thing alike, and also I don't know what Donald Trump knows about what is in these documents, or not, or is it all being made up?
If there was really dirt on Trump and only Trump, the Epstein files would have been open and blown up.
What do you think? Do you think this is all made up? Let me put you on hold.
Please do that.
All right, we have a line open, 710 KNU. It's a Saturday.
Your 710 5-day forecast this Saturday. We're bringing out the sunshine and we're bringing out the late January warmth. Highs will hit the upper 50s over the plains with lows tonight resting in the lower 30s. Sunday, sunny with highs in the lower 60s. Then the weekend, we'll start to get a little more cloud cover to return Sunday night into Monday. Lows Sunday night lower to mid 30s with highs Monday in the low 60s. Dropping into the low to mid 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. We could see a few hit and miss rain and snow showers. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
James Brown, get on up. 7:10 KNUS Saturday morning, the 31st of January, 2026. Get on up. 56 the high, 61 Sunday, 60 on Monday. Lines are jammed, lots to read. Planning a winter trip, but don't want to buy a whole setup for the kids or grandkids, or maybe your beloved equipment just needs a lot of attention. Well, always send folks to Larson Ski and Sport, the undisputed champions of rentals and repair services. Larson's keeps making it to the mountains easier and affordable with the fantastic season rentals package. Gary DeFrange and I are actually thinking about a ski day next week. So, when it comes to repairs and tunes, rentals, certified techs, they're experts. The Dynastars, Solomons, any high-end gear performs perfectly, or again, much better after a tune at the folks at Larson. So when it comes to repairs and tunes, their certified techs are experts. They carry all the latest skis, boards, the high-quality insulated jackets that your family will need. So don't waste your time driving into the mountains and making your pit stop right off the interstate. See the man now. It's convenient. It's reliable. It's the only independent shop. You can trust them. Stop today and tell them I sent you. Larson Ski and Sports. So you're westbound on I-70, get off on Kipling, come down the ramp, then make a left, come underneath I-70, come out the other side, look immediately to your right. You'll see a big wooden box building, 7 days a week. They never close. Larson Sport. Again, 303-423-0654. 303-423-0654. Larson Sport, Larson Sport.com. All right, we go back to Don in Colorado Springs. We have 3 different topics on front burner on talk. Don, it's all yours again.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the only reason why the Epstein files didn't blow up the way they did is because there's going to be people on the Democratic Party end that are going to get it in the neck as much as Trump, if anything,
Bill Clinton.
on Trump.
I mean, Bill Clinton is.
Hands down. And
Yeah.
Bill Clinton's still the darling of the Democrats. Maybe Hillary more so, but it would hurt her too big time.
Well, it's this dump that came yesterday, and people were still doing weed and seed, and then there's another 50% more to drop. The question, I think, is, are these things believable? And that's the question for you and me and everybody listening or not listening. The allegations of the Epstein files documents, underage girls claiming they were forced to perform oral sex. Do you believe that? I mean, because it's not a no thing; it's a believe thing. What do you do with that?
It's not. I mean, right now it doesn't really matter until there is really concrete evidence to the contrary.
I don't know.
I think it's happening, but there's nothing you can really do. It's like saying that the Clintons themselves murdered these people that committed suicide. But if that happened, they had some good cleaners then.
Well, one of the things that, in being at first blush, reading this stuff last night, it makes me more believe that Epstein was murdered if this is true.
Yeah, I mean, and I would believe that as well, but there's just no evidence. And like I said, you've heard of cleaners, and those people make sure that the
sure, of course, but
be a padded cell or a steel bar.
There's a claim that there's an email that got dropped showing Melania Trump giving her love to Ghislaine Maxwell, the first lady, in an email from 2002. Seems to tell Maxwell she's looking great in a picture in an article about Jeffrey Epstein. And Melania also appears to ask Maxwell when she would be back in New York, where Melania was. Now, it's a nothing, but it also sort of travels along. And how much impact do you think this stuff has?
I really don't know, and I don't know what the effect is. All I know is that the media back in the day, in the early 70s, they really pushed for Nixon to be out of office. And apparently one of the reasons was over Vietnam. And Walter Cronkite said we couldn't win the war. And apparently in the television documentary on PBS, Vietnam, which favored the Viet Cong, but according to that program, they said from the other side that the war turned in their favor when Cronkite said stuff like that.
But listen, when the Pentagon Papers were done, they knew then, and that's why Richard Nixon, although he had nothing to do with the Pentagon Papers, it was all Johnson and Kennedy and and Truman, but the McNamara knew, and so did the JCS, that the war was not winnable, but they went ahead. Yeah. So that was the damning thing of the papers, were that they knew, and
that's probably the truth.
Oh, it was the truth.
But like I said, the news media in general didn't like Nixon. They don't like people that push back against their agenda that they support, and don't tell me otherwise. And they felt that Nixon was a threat, and when they got the dirt, they were able to run him out.
Nixon has this long-standing feud in California with the media, and certainly when he gets to New York.
Correct.
And he also is incredibly jealous of the Kennedys, who have a great relationship and can get away with anything. And of course, you know how much of our media loves the Kennedys so much. They're a bit mad that Trump added his name to the Kennedy Center, which, in my opinion, it probably was not a smart thing to do. But I think what Trump is doing there is he's trolling the left on this. He's making them react, and they're reacting accordingly. Yeah, well, I think he does that. I think he dynamites them. But the Kennedy, Ted's
he's a road runner. Well, he's still a road runner.
Yeah, he's a cowboy. Good call.
Hey, like I said, road runner. They're Wile E. Coyote. You have a good time. I'll talk to you again.
All right, brother. We go to Don in Lakewood. Don, you're on the radio show. Good morning. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, Pete.
Hey, brother.
Good luck to you on how your bike finishes.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
sure
see. Get it out of there.
Huh?
Get it out of there tomorrow and get it home.
Is the fix in? That's what I want. No,
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying,
That's right, if you ain't cheating.
Yeah. So, I want to touch on something here. Tulsi Gabbard and the FBI down in Georgia.
Fulton County. Fulton County.
Fulton County. What do you think?
Again, if she had something, and this is the thing that always troubles me about on-airs or elected officials or whomever, but if she had the truth about whatever they pretend happened, why do you do it this way? Why don't you take it and give it to Fox News, give it to Rupert Murdoch, give it to Newsmax, give it to OAN, give it to Salem, all the people that paid off.
First of all, you've had a lot of obstacles in the way from, I think, really finding out the truth and what happened. People have said to me, well, when are we going to see something happen? They go, you can't just go in and do something overnight. This takes a lot of time to research, get all the dots connected before you can even begin.
No, listen, Rupert Murdoch had the best law firms in the country, and they threw in the towel. Donald Trump has this ongoing crusade.
I'm not talking about that. He had to do that. There was nothing they were able to prove. However, hypothetically, what if they come out of there, Peter, and find out, this thing wasn't straight up. This thing was cooked, okay? Right now you got to go with everything that everybody said, and everybody got sued and had to capitulate and go to jail and admit and say they were wrong and all this other crap to save their ass. I'm just saying.
Well, if they had it, if they had the goods, if they had the receipts, you would have seen them.
I don't think so. I think
of course
that's
you
what
would
they're
have.
going down to do. No, I think that's what they're going down to do.
Do you think
they had that smoke covered up so much?
Come on. Why did Rupert pay $870+ million why did Rupert Murdoch?
Rupert Murdoch is not the FBI and the DOJ.
No, but look,
okay?
I
Look
don't.
how corrupt our FBI and our DOJ has been in the past.
Look,
do you agree with that?
The FBI has been questionable since its conception, but
I'm talking under the Trump era. Okay.
Oh, they were
Comey,
Ray. Yeah, but
the DOJ.
I understand that, but you're saying I will answer your question with another question. But the FBI agents that were on that raid, they're this for the chief of U.S. intelligence to track threats from foreign adversaries. Look, if you got this was the claims. Remember that was the Venezuelans, and it was all these people that were outside the country. It's the stuff that was said by the Kraken when they gave those crazy get-togethers and showing people that the Donald Trump's 2020 election was stolen from him.
So why are they doing this now, Peter?
Well, because they're getting ready to do it again. That's what I believe. I believe they're gearing up to try it one more time. Why
would they do that?
Well, because it worked for them last time. They got a midterm coming, and that midterm is not going to. I don't think the midterm plays well for the Republican Party. So you start to say, if you read the books about it, they started saying as early as June that it was going to be stolen. And they kept it up, and there's no evidence. Look, if there was evidence of the steal, I'd be the first guy to say, here's the evidence. It was stolen from them. History has to make things right. I can't find it. I've never been able to find it.
Look how much stuff has come out later, years later, to find out it was nothing but a good lie. Give you a good example. Gulf of Tonkin.
Yeah, but that one doesn't make one doesn't make the other. In other words, yes, the Gulf of Tonkin, the battleship Maine. I'll go down to this list of things that they told lies about, but it doesn't mean they're lying about this.
Battleship Maine.
Yeah, the blowing up of the Maine in Cuba, and they said the Spaniards did it, and the Spaniards didn't do that. The Gulf of Tonkin's another great one. Weapons of mass destruction. I'll give you a list. But that doesn't mean that this is...
When did we find out about that stuff? Years later, right?
There were people that knew then. There were people that knew that the Gulf...
when was it made public and that it was actually lies?
During Bush and Cheney, when they came up with Curveball, who was saying that Saddam Hussein had WMDs, and there were people, the French in particular, said, no, this guy's lying. This guy's lying. But you have these intelligence committees that have demanded, bring me the meat, and all the people that were on air at this radio station and other places that claimed it, they're in the wind. They vanished. There was nothing, and it wasn't stolen. Believe me, I mean, Don, if I thought that Donald Trump had that election stolen from him, if I had any evidence to believe it, but it isn't there. There's no there. It isn't. I mean, with all due respect, I love your calls.
What makes you think you're going to be privy, Pete, to this evidence?
Well, what makes you? I don't.
What I'm trying to say.
But you're making stuff up out of whole cloth and saying it was stolen. I'm saying, I'm from Missouri.
I didn't say it was stolen.
Of course you are.
I said, no, I'm not. I'm saying, why are they down there doing that? Not once have I ever said to you that election was stolen.
Do you believe the election was stolen?
Do I believe it was stolen?
Yeah.
I think it needs to be looked into a little deeper.
Come on, shoot straighter.
Hey, listen. Right. As it stands right now, I don't think it was stolen.
Okay.
However, if you come up to me a year from now or two from now, and you get a grand jury and you get this thing in a courtroom, and hopefully you have a fair and equitable court, and that's always something to wonder about, and it turns out something else, well, you know,
you're giving
who
yourself...
killed Kennedy for years? For years we heard Harvey Oswald.
One doesn't make the other. That's the point of this. It's because this one thing happened doesn't mean that the one that you believe does. And so what I'm saying to you, and I love the call, I love the debate, But look at these people that told you that this thing was stolen, and all of them, either paying back or paying off or vanishes or whatever the hell they did. And
you had close people in your life and at the radio station who are no longer there.
That's right.
Why?
Why?
And, well, because you have a difference of opinion.
No. It had nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me.
What did it have to do with?
It had to do with you can't tell lies.
So the people that walked out of your life.
Not out of my life. Listen, why did this just take Fox News, Rupert Murdoch? Why did he pay $800+ million? Has nothing to do with me.
Well,
why did he pay?
There was.
Yeah,
there was nothing
you know. We're coming back. We're coming back, brother. He lied. Back after this. morning, everybody. 710 KNUS on a Saturday, the 31st of January. Great looking weather headed our way. A couple good days. Tell you about David Ellis, and we'll go back to jam lines. You've heard me talking about taking valuables to David Ellis Jewelers. And by the way, Valentine's Day is right on the corner. Get a fortune in cash for good stuff that you got. Secure an appraisal from David for all the valuables that you have tucked away in your home. And it's still true. I share the other reasons to see David just in case you don't have a Rolex watch, rare coins, or a silver tea set. Go see David Ellis for all their most meaningful gift-giving occasions. Again, Valentine's Day is right here. David Ellis Jewelers, just the right items, just the right price. Special people that mean the most to you. An antique watch, an emerald pendant, a gold necklace, a diamond ring. Trusted jewelers been buying precious metals and antiques here in Colorado for decades. Dazzling cases filled with hundreds of new and used pieces that your loved ones will treasure. See the man, see David Ellis. He's working now 6 days a week. Black awning on the corner of 3rd and Clayton and Cherry Creek. There he is. Explore DavidEllisJewelry.com. Call my friend David Ellis, 303-322-8779. Tell David Peter Boyles sent you. 3rd and Clayton and Cherry Creek, 6 days a week. It's David Ellis. All right, let me read these. I don't trust a heavily Democratic city. Elections can be on the up and up, but there aren't any other facets. And are they allowing hundreds of thousands in Fulton County? Morning, Peter, I understand everyone has an opinion, can express their concerns, but right now you're discussing the Epstein files implicating Trump with no evidence. But you chastise the caller for his opinion. Well, this has been proven. There is no evidence for systematic voter fraud. If you really spend time, President Donald Trump claimed that 2020 was stolen. Millions of Americans believed it, and there was no evidence, none. There was no statistical claims offered by Trump and his allies and these talk radio fools and others that there was any evidence of election fraud, including claims about Dominion voting machines and switching votes and the rest of it. See, there is a difference. Opinion's one thing. I don't know what this means. TDS, 8:35 in the morning. Then this one, Donald Trump got spanked by a porn star using a magazine with his picture on it. He cheated on every spouse he's ever had. He ran a casting couch, a beauty pageant. He likely raped a retail clerk. He bragged about grabbing women by the genitals, and then he had a goal to sell Bibles to raise campaign funds, and it goes on from there. All right, here we go. We go to Mark in Broomfield. Thank you for waiting. You're on the radio show. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, Peter. You had mentioned Trump with this woman as saying that she had oral sex with him 35 years ago. Let me ask you this question. Do you believe that Kavanaugh is guilty of having sex with that woman?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I just don't. I know there's nothing about Kavanaugh and who he is or what he is that would lead me to believe that Kavanaugh, and again, we're using terms like belief and knowledge, that Kavanaugh's not that kind of a man.
Well, they sure made it out.
I understand. Like you asked me what I believe. Wait a minute, please.
Yeah.
You asked me what I believe.
Sure. Do you remember when they were bringing a picture of her, and
sure.
she had her head tilted back?
Oh yeah.
And sunglasses.
I'm telling you. You asked me what I believe. I don't believe Kavanaugh did it.
Okay, I understand that. But remember when they were building up to it that they were going to have that hearing, and they got a picture of her where she's got sunglasses on and she's tilting her head back like laughing. And then they get to the hearing.
You asked
and then there's this old 60-year-old hag looking there, and you go, who the hell is that? When are they going to bring that woman on?
Okay.
And the same thing with that woman that she claims that she had sex with in some department store. And during an interview, she said rape was sexy. Do you believe these people?
No, I just told you a second ago.
Yeah.
I don't believe the charges against Kavanaugh. Donald Trump, I think Donald Trump, on the other hand, it plays pretty fast and loose with women and his marriages. That's just the truth.
Well, he was. I mean, during that time frame, he was a playboy. But
Okay, all right.
with his family and values and everything, I just don't see him going after young girls, especially when he kicked Epstein out.
They said, what my reading suggested last night was 35 years ago, and I'll just read this to you again. This is from it said, an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump, and it goes from there. I don't think that Kavanaugh is the kind of man who does stuff like that. Now, that's just that's all it is belief.
Okay, but how can you prove something?
I'm not trying to prove anything. Twice. I said what I'm saying to you is you can prove there's no evidence for systematic voter fraud. So you can look at that in terms of an evidentiary moment. When you do belief stuff, it's way different.
Do you remember when they said that Trump was involved with the Russians and they sent people to prison for that? And then we find out it was nothing but a lie?
Yeah, I'm saying to you that one doesn't prove the other. When you look at cases individual, you have to look at them individually. Do you believe that Donald Trump played fast and loose with women? The answer is of course.
But the question is, did he have sex with an underage girl? Not a woman. Not a woman that's 18 or older. And so, did he have one with a 13-year-old?
That's the question that they're saying they're bringing up in this Epstein papers. They're going to have to show it. You're asking for something that I can't know. All I can say is we know things like the Stormy Daniels stuff and all the rest of that stuff, and the woman she was the runner-up for Miss America, and Trump promised her that she would have a place in the Trump Towers and everything. It wasn't true. I mean, it was true, but Donald Trump didn't come through. I don't know what people want.
But those two women you just mentioned, how old were they?
They were adults, but he was married,
right.
And he was married.
Right.
And he was married.
But the thing is, what I'm trying to get at, there's a difference between a woman that's 18 years or older.
I'm on your side.
Versus a young 13-year-old girl.
Yep. But does that play out with his wife, married?
Well, I don't think that's the question. I think it's whether or not he had sex with a minor. That's the question. Because he probably had sex with women that were of age. But the question is, did he have sex with a minor?
Then
I don't think he could say all the things about him, but I don't think he would stoop and be that low and do something like that.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well, thank you.
There's a what?
I said thank you for letting me talk.
No, please. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. We'll go to Ralph in Colorado Springs. Ralph, you're on a radio show. Good morning.
Yeah, let me take you off speaker. Peter, the last caller, I think, just illustrated my point, and I'll put it this way. Who should I believe? Washington or my own lying eyes?
Right.
And that really is the question. I'm not saying Democrats don't lie or Republicans don't lie. They absolutely do.
Help me get to the point. Politics. Ralph, help me get to the point. What is it?
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Bottom line is what we're dealing with is MAGA as a belief system. MAGA has to believe in Trump. Otherwise, everything falls apart. And that's why you have someone like Christie. There are no Epstein files gnomes telling us that we didn't see murder in Minneapolis.
I'm going to put you on hold and bring you back, okay?
Okay,
all right,
sure.
So text messaging, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Do you have proof that Trump did it? No, of course not. This is talk radio. I do have proof that there wasn't any voter fraud. This stuff just dropped last night. It's talk radio, folks. Welcome to the wide world of sports.